Hey, hi everyone. Today I'll be welcoming, I will be presenting my project Pickpalette, which in one term I call it as a color craft. And if a brief introduction or a brief achievement that I wanted to achieve while launching the project, actually, like it was one of my summer afternoon project. I coded it for myself and then I launched it this January only during my winters after I came from an hackathon. If you want to visit the project, you can use this URL or you can also scan the barcode, the QR code as well. For the metrics, if I want to say, currently I'm having 45 plus users and currently I'm having around 3,500 plus colors. So, a little bit about myself. I'm currently an SD intern at a YC-backed startup, Pickflow. I actually joined it very recently. And about my academics, I'm a third year BTech student, and I'm also a SIS 23 finalist. Technically, the runners-up, which is the largest India's hackathon, hosted by the central government. And see, every project has its story, right? No one builds project without a story. Last time, yesterday around night, I was watching a video by Levels.io, who is one of the most successful SaaS builder. I'm I'm a lot inspired by him. Okay, so here's the story about myself. I'm using the name Joey here, but you can relate it to myself as well. So Joey is a full stack web dev, and he is suffering from a serious trauma that we all suffer. That is slow development process. He worked that typical 70 hours a week. If anyone of you are from India, you can relate it very well. That the term 70 hours. So, but he failed actually a lot. Like he's traumatized by all that thing that is coming up. He's coding, but can't solve it all. You can see it from the picture. Like it's most about that UI thing, that colors, that graphics. But wait, what if we get some nice tools in our hand to build and move faster? And what if we integrate an AI with it? Right? It's a modern world. Yes, Joy, we can. Actually, with all developers, we can. So, what is Pickpalette all about? I am talking about a lot color craft. I love rainbows and this and that. But what is it all about? So, but before moving to Pickpalette, let's talk about why we care about colors a lot. Actually, I'm not that color person. If I talk about myself, I'm mostly from the backend side. Okay, I love backend development and the JavaScript world. But we don't care about colors until this kind of things come up, until this kind of website come into my eyes. Then this then this. Actually, this is my college website only. I think you understand now why we care about colors. So again, I move to the question: what is Pickpalette? So what are the visionaries of Pickpalette? Pickpalette is actually about that previous product's colors that is successfully launched. Like if I go to the site today, and all the colors of today's top product will be present there. And it is also about managing the color from a central place, and also about generating colors and playing with colors little by little. Simon, can I close my screen and go to my website a bit? I'm going actually. I think, yeah. So if you see, I think I'm visible there. So
Yeah,
it
it's
is my
visible.
website. It is my web app or the website Pickpalette. You can say it. I hope all of you like the product. And if I start about the most beautiful thing or the most thing I'm satisfied about my product is this palette hub. It contains more than 3,500 of colors. I think today it crossed 3,700. But you can see some of the top colors. Even these 4 to 5 colors are from today. It is updated version. It is These are from Product Hunt actually. You can go on scrolling the colors, lines UI. You can even visualize it. You can even play it. You can ever randomize it, and you can see what can be the different combinations of color. And you can even, it's a shareable URL. If you see it here, you can copy and you can share it to everyone if you want. And other things like here, if you go, you can generate a color from the image. I'm not uploading any image because this is my secondary PC. You can generate palette from any image if you want. Along with it, another cool thing that I built was this central color management. It will not work as I am not signed in, but you can manage colors from it. You can go and, oh, I'm logged in. If I go to my this project only, this pick palette, you can see a tons of color will be present, like that I'm using in this project. You can see it, and I can play with it. I can just play with it, and it will automatically save for me. I don't have to touch it, right? And in future, it will be integrable to your website as well. Let me back to my presentation. Yeah. So why I want you to use a pick palette in while we have already have SaaS like coolers, color and color up, right? So if you saw the product pick palette, it has a cool feature called palette hub. Like it is containing all the daily updated colors of the top products, some of the great products like Live Blocks, Eternity UI, Super Memory AI, a lot of colors. Instant generation of colors, like I'm not using any AI for generating the colors. It is just using the plain image processing, both in the palette hub along with that generate image, and also a dashboard to manage your colors, right? You can build your project and you can integrate your colors that you want to use. And it's kind of Figma. You can connect it to Figma as well when I will be exposing the UI. Like I have a future scope as well for connecting your front end to this directly to this palette hub or that dashboard. And the last thing that I loved about my product is it has a great user experience. Like you can just use or you can just go on using the product and it will do all the things automatically for you, like the saving, the likings, the saving of the colors, like managing of the colors. So, what are the technical aspect of it, right? It is a React and Chill conference. We should talk about a React ecosystem also, like how the React ecosystem is fundamentally powering Speak Palette. So, some of the technical aspects that I'm going to cover are how I am updating the colors and how I am managing all the things, along with that optimistic mindset with the React ecosystem, tanstack or just along with that how I am leveraging the Google Sandbox for going on free, and how I ended up deleting all my data due to a silly bug that I coded. I lost around 1,000 data. That will be a great story to tell. So here's a little infrastructure how this pick palette is working. You can see it's a pretty simplistic thing. No microservices, nothing. It's just a simple API calls and simple segregation of services. I have this pick palette and I have divided my application into two sections. The CRUD side, the user that is interacting with, like I'm using the multi-edge, multi routes edge functions provided by Superbase. Actually, it's loading Express app. I hope all of you understand edge functions, right? It's a API but maintained by the service provider themselves, like the AWS Lambdas or GCP Cloud Functions or Firebase functions. Similarly, I'm using that Superbase Edge functions. It is directly integrated to their Superbase client, and I can use their Postgres database directly. And the Palette Hub is not actually using any database. That is the cool thing. I'm not using any database. Rather, I'm using a Excel file, a hosted Excel file. I'm using Google Sheet for it. Okay, like it is acting as a CDN. Like I can send the data, and believe me, it is one of the game changer for this app. Like it runs so smooth without any hesitation. You can expose your API. You can do limitations. Kinda CDN. You can cache the data there, and you can send the data from there. Yeah, it's a great thing. And how am I collecting this data, right? Like you can see go you can if you go to this pick palette, if you go to the pick palette, let me if I go to the product and if I go to this browse section, you can see this data are coming, how this thing are collected, right? I will be using some data collection tool. And for this thing I'm using the GitHub actions. What is the advantage of GitHub actions? So I'm having a tons of I'm enjoying a tons of advantages from here. If you see, GitHub Actions let you run your code for free. I can use their cron jobs. I can use their scheduled cron jobs. I can run anything. I can test my code automatically. So basically, every night at 9 p.m. IST, basically my time zone, I launch my data collection tool. It is done automatically by the cron job. It is scheduled, totally automated, and it collects me the data. And where it saves, basically it saves my data into the Google Sheets. And it's a modern world, right? I need some data to train my own AI model or my ML model. So I'm using a combination of MongoDB along with this Pinecone. A typical mon stack, you can say. If you see it here, the Superbase edge functions are also written in TypeScript. But why am I using Mongo? I will tell it later when I will tell you a story about how I deleted my 1000 data. So let me again back to this technical aspect thing, like how this whole thing is working. Like another, there's how am I managing it to run it for free while updating colors regularly. The current matrix that I told, that I'm having around 3700 plus color today's date. And let's talk about the champ of pick palette, tanstack and just so why tanstack and why just so I can the quirk choice that I was asked when in my interviews, like it is one of my projects that I showcased to all of my interviews in my current company along with some of the interviews that I saw. Why haven't I chose React context or Redux, right? Like it's a go-to choice. Go to search in the site what to use for the state management. Everyone will tell you to just go with Redux, do some bindings, and yeah, da da da. But wait, wait. I am dealing with a lot of data, a ton of data, tons, not thousands of data, right? So all the things are done to be asynchronously. How the user interact with my site, it's not justified. User is clicking there, user is clicking there, user is using my data in a random manner. He's generating some URL, along with he's also maintaining a dashboard of himself as well. So all the things by definition is asynchronous, like it is not defined. It is going on, and our app is facilitating it without any blockage. User is clicking on the button and it is just changing it, and users are getting notified when it is done, right? So tanstack is one of the best player in the React ecosystem. It's the async state management. If you go and search, basically it's a state management library, and you can use it with fetch, any asynchronous any asynchronous things with returns a promise, and zustand, the player of the game. Like it is. I choose just an instead of React context for building my dashboard. If you see it here, let me give you a live demonstration actually. If you see it here, I'm just changing it, right? I'm just changing it. I'm just changing it. And this whole thing is just saving. I haven't just a single piece of buttons on my code, and it is just saving it automatically. If you go and see, and if I refresh my URL, I haven't clicked a single button, but you will see the data is updated like the time I updated last time. You see the colors. So yeah, here only this tanstack and justtand are facilitating it. I wrote my own algorithm for it. A typical leak code priority queue problem, where I wrote my own queue, own data structure for performing that action for maintaining the race conditions. And another hot topic that I wanted to talk about is that how am I leveraging this Google Sheets and this Google ecosystem for uh, for running my whole code in a free environment. Basically, if you search in the Google add-ons in the Google Office suite, you can run a tons of their API in their own sandbox, so that you don't have to manage that API keys yourself. Because it's a React project, right? It's a bare bone React project. I was probably in my first year when I coded this project, and I was having no idea of how to code a secure backend or front end. So I just picked up the Google API and just connected with it. So yeah, I wrote a post in my LinkedIn as well. You can go and check it out there as well. And another cool thing that I want to talk about, rather a silly mistake we all programmers make, is how I ended up deleting all my data. Let me back to the infrastructure. Okay. So you can see a lot of database operations are happening. Technically, it's a database, it's a database, it's a database, it's a database. A lot of database operations are happening, and we all know database. The records are unique, right? We can't have that duplicate record. So by mistake, I wrote a code that was repeating the IDs, and I ended up having only 18 data after the end of 2 months. Like literally, believe me. And the for I just ran into a data corruption issue. Like it was data corruption, right? I was supposed to have more than 1000 of data, but I was having only 18 set of data. And for collecting that 1000 of data and the whole that irregularities maintained in my Google Sheets, in my database, and in my learnings database, I ended up deleting around 1000 of data for maintaining that. And then I wrote another patch to save it. So yeah, it was some funny journey. And yeah, and how it is helping me actually, how it's helping me, like one of the great thing, right? It's not a technical choice. You go and say to any startup, I want to leverage Google Sheets for launching my backend. They will say, no dude, no, it's not scalable. But if I say about you about my metrics, like when I launched this product, I didn't launch it for the whole world. Believe me, an Indian YouTuber is there named Harkirat Singh. He actually told in his video, why don't we have something like a color dashboard management tool? Then I thought of let's launch it. Let's launch it. I have already built this project. Let's launch it. But before that, it was my only personal tool, and some of my friends are using it for generating colors, for getting a hands on, right. So how it's helping me again? So it's actually running me whole thing in free. The whole data boundaries and whole this infrastructure is running on free. I am not paying a single money, and I am having around 50 plus users, right? 45 to 50 users. It's a cool thing, right? And what are the future plans? I'm I build projects not for earning money. Like if you see the whole thing, it's totally running on free. I am not paying a single money. I'm not collecting a money. So what are my future plans about it? Actually, I did some future research, like what can be the future scope of it and what should I proceed to. So my main goal at this end of this whole thing is to reduce this thing. If any one of you worked in did some internship or worked on any of your project, you can see a typical curve is made between the development time, the test time, the production time. We need to test our code a lot. Now suppose thing, let's give you an example. I want to change the site of this palette, like this whole background. I need to go to my code. Like if you go, it's open source by the way. If I go to my code and if I go to this page, and I need to change the code, and it will run through some checksums, and then it will confirm a whole for changing that a single tailwind color. It's running on tailwind, so a single tailwind value I run to run this whole flow again, from development to test to production and again to development. So lot of waste of time. Why can't we have this? Why can't we connect this whole dashboard to this? The whole the whole color dashboard. This, suppose I'm taking this as example. Suppose this is my website, and why don't we connect to this dashboard? I can change color from here or this, and this whole color gets changed, right? The a single centralized server, actually, like a total centralized management for managing our production. And that's what I told, like why don't we decentralize it and have a some remote control for our website for controlling our colors. And another thing, that Google, we all know that Google I/O event, that AI. Why don't we generate that? If we saw the first slide, I saw Joey, our main character, want to integrate AI into his product as well. So why don't we join this AI into our product? And the good news is, Joey, that is me, that is Arnab, already integrated AI into our product in the form of Discord bot. I haven't launched it yet, but yeah, I'm going to launch it very soon. So this whole AI actually gonna, what I say, whole gonna change the whole scene. Suppose you say, I want to build a website for a summer school or for some summer vacation or for React and Chill. It is already having some metrics of the data. If you see it here, like let me go to this whole page, and already I'm having some data here. Like let it get loaded. I'm already having some data, or I already collected it from some products, right? What I've told, like all the data are collected from the previous matrix products, right, which are already topped in the form of ratings, user liked it, user liked that, user experience, and all that stats businesses. So why don't we use their sentiments, their mathematical values, right? That's my plan. Let's integrate the AI and let's move in that direction. And what can be my improvements? If you listen one of the talks today in this React and Chill only, like there was a session about server driven UI. A whole lot of these things is happening. I have to maintain it myself, as I am doing it in the client side. React is the client side framework, right? If we integrate some server driven UI, like if I talk about the server driven UI, the most common technology that comes to my mind is Next.js. If I have to build this product by myself now, I will integrate Next.js into it, and not any other things, right? Like I will connect my all the things will remain, and instead of React, the vanilla React, I will use Next.js and server components with it, and all the things will be really magic, especially that authentication and authentication forms, this loading of the data, all things will be seamless actually. And here's some of my promotion. Why don't you folks go to the product hunt and just upvote my product, right? It's a great product, right? I told you why you should use it and why shouldn't you. Believe me, all of my friends uses it, and they really compliments me a lot for saving their time in front end. One of my friend is working at a remote startup in Dubai, and as a front end intern, and he uses my product a lot. He just uses it a lot, and he's amazed by this. So let's and if you want to connect to me, I'm available on socials, on LinkedIn, Twitter, and GitHub, on this platform mainly. You can send me a hi, you can send me a DM, or any improvements you needed regarding the project. Or and if you found any issue, like I'm planning to change the landing page, some UI a bit, you can help me in raising the future concerns as well. So you can do an open source contribution in the GitHub as well.